This week's episode of Those Who Do the Podcast will begin after this short message.
Hey, creepy people.
This is P&W, Haunts and Homicides. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Cassie.
Together, we explore stories of the paranormal and true crime throughout the Pacific Northwest. For each episode, we do a tarot reading to help us gain some insight on the topic as we share the facts of the case and our interpretations. You can find our episodes featuring true stories from infamous cases such as the misdeeds of Boeing, as well as lesser-known true crime cases like the murders in Tunnel 13.
As well as our spooky stories from Pike Place and Raven's Manor on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you'd like to listen. Have a creepy-ass day.
Welcome to another episode of Those Who Do the Podcast. This week we're going to do something a little different. Before there was Those Who Do, there was essentially Those Who Did. Back in the late aughts, the early 2000 teens, I traveled to multiple comic book and entertainment conventions with my good friend Eric, and we would often have the opportunity to talk to different people at the conventions about convention life, or some people in the entertainment industry about what it is like to be at conventions as well as work in the industry. Little did I know that this would be the impetus. It'd be the birthplace of what would eventually become Those Who Do the Podcast. It sparked my enjoyment and interest in talking to people to learn more about them and why it is that they enjoy what they do. So for this week's episode, we're going to go in the Wayback Machine to what would have been Wizard World Comic Con 2011. We were fortunate enough to speak with Chad Lindberg, known for Supernatural, The Fast and the Furious, ended up being on Sons of Anarchy and in an Alex Cross movie. He's done a ton of stuff. He's a great character actor. He was a fan favorite on Supernatural. So we were able to talk to Chad. He was incredibly gracious. It contains our first meeting with the innumerable, the venerable, the energetic James C. Burns. It is where we first met up with James and became what would end up establishing a relationship and a friendship that's lasted now 15 years. So this is a pretty interesting medley of interviews. We start with Chad Lindberg, and then we also talk to a couple of con goers that have had some do-it-theirself cosplay. One is a zombie Supergirl who was absolutely amazing and had done some really good work. And then we talked to a middle-aged man that came as Catwoman. It was not what we expected it to be. It was one of the more interesting and laid-back conversations that we had the entire weekend. I do remember it very vividly. He was one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life and just super chill. So this episode, we're going to talk to Chad Lindberg, James C. Burns, Zombie Supergirl, and Catwoman. This episode of Those Who Did Wizard World Spectacular Issue number 1. Enjoy. Zac and Eric, we're here with Chad Lindberg from Supernatural, Fast and the Furious, all kinds of awesome stuff. How you doing, Chad?
What's up, man?
Are you enjoying the con so far?
Dude, I'm having an amazing time. This is the first Comic-Con that I've ever done. You know, just walking around, you get that nostalgic childhood feeling, you know. I mean, I grew up with, all this stuff. Got to meet some of my heroes, you know what I mean? I just say it's been a great weekend.
So you're one of us, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
When you knew you were coming, what did you decide you wanted to see? What was the thing for you?
Well, actually, just before I got on the plane, I read this article about who was going to be here, and Aaron Goodwin from the Ghost Adventures. I'm a huge Ghost Adventures fan. I've been for years, and I just absolutely love that show. So I made sure that I found him, and we got to talking, and that was really awesome. I met Christopher Lloyd. I met quite a few people. It's just exciting, you know?
Well, and it's probably weird being a guy who grew up like us, you know, and interested in all this nerd culture and stuff, to get dropped in the middle of this, be surrounded by all these people, and then have access to them. Like, how does that feel?
It's amazing. I was hanging out with Noah last night. Who was it? Atreyu. Like, I didn't know it at first when I met him because he's older now, and I was like, that's so cool. Like, it is a little surreal. You know, you're hanging out with people that you grew up watching or that mean something to you, and it's a thrill, you know?
And how does it feel being your first con, all of a sudden be dropped in where you're so accessible to fans and everybody can come up and talk to you, shake your hand, and how does that make you feel on the inside? I mean, it's kind of a silly question, but really, how does it make you feel?
It's flattering, and you know, I love it. I mean, I love when people come up to me, and I love when they get excited too, and you know, we're all the same here. We're all pumped about all this stuff, and it's awesome.
Have you seen anything like wild, the weirdest thing you've seen since you've been here?
I saw a guy dressed up as Wonder Woman, which is fine. I live in LA, but it was like, wow, some of these costumes, there's such commitment in them that I'm so impressed. And you know what, man, no one here cares. No one here cares, and they are who they are, and I love that.
Exactly. We actually interviewed a man dressed as Catwoman, and the first day here.
I saw him. He walked by my table. I go, excuse me, sir. What are you supposed to be? He's like, well, and he told me about it. I think he had like done some Yes! And you know what? He had no shame, man. He was all about it, and I was like, props to you, my man.
We went into that interview expecting something completely different. Like, it's like, well, this is going to be good radio, but it's going to be good radio for a different reason. And then the guy was so incredibly together. It was one of the best interviews we've done since we've been here.
That's awesome.
So wild.
I think an obvious question for us to ask, or the listeners will kill us. Ash, huge draw, fan favorite character. Any way that fans can expect to see him on Supernatural again in any way, shape, or form, or are you in the dark on that one?
I'm so in the dark on that one, to be honest. I mean, they don't tell me anything, so, you know, if one day I get a phone call saying, hey, we want to have you back, then I would be over the top thrilled. You know, I thought my life was done on season 2, and then they brought me back briefly on season 5, and that was because of the fans. That was because of Twitter and the interaction with the fans, and they made so much noise that, you know, Eric Kripke heard it and got me back on this show. So, you know, I'm hoping they find a way to tie everybody back together because I think the fans want to see that.
Absolutely.
Well, and the good thing is it's a show where people don't have to stay dead.
Exactly. Everybody dies and comes back. I think Sam and Dean have even died and come back several times. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's the beauty of the show.
It's strangely, it's a show my family watches together. Yeah. So like, my kids are jazzed about me being here and everything, and it's so weird to experience a show like that actually draws to a whole family. You know?
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, I understand what you're saying because you know, my family, you know, we watch Ghost Adventures. That's our thing. You know what I mean? And when you have a show you can sit and bond over, that's special. You know what I mean? And so I get that. It's great.
We won't take up too much more of your time. Just 2 more things. One, what is something coming up for you? What's an upcoming project?
I'm doing a movie called I, Alex Cross, and it's a book in the James Patterson series, like Along Came a Spider, Kiss the Girls. Tyler Perry is the lead. It's the same director as The Fast and the Furious, Rob Cohen. So I'm doing that next month, and other than that, just keeping busy and doing conventions.
Fantastic. And then last thing, if you could maybe give us a quick sounder to put in the podcast.
A sounder? What do you mean?
If you could just say, like, this is Chad Lindberg, and you're listening to Misinformation Podcast.
Misinformation Podcast? Yep. Okay. I'm Chad Lindberg. You are listening to Misinformation Podcast here at Comic-Con Chicago. Good times.
Thank you very much.
First of all, excellent. Okay. We got Zombie Supergirl. How, when, why did you come up with the idea?
I have a deep love for zombies. And, I mean, for Comic-Con, what else are you going to do? You got to go superheroes, zombies, and yeah, I saw that they had kryptonite that they would sell, so I was like, zombie Superman. But I'm a chick, so I'm like, well, next best route. So I went zombie Supergirl.
Now, a lot of times you see bad zombies. This is not one of them. You went to a lot of work. Now, did you just kind of figure out, here's what I want to do, or do you have any training, makeup training, anything like that?
No training whatsoever. This is all just pretty much on my own. I went to art school, so I mean, you know, shading, whatever, but I mean, I can watch tutorials, but I have makeup. I mean, I have exposed teeth that you can see. I made those they're just nail tips. I filed them myself, glued them on, and
That's pretty impressive because I've seen people with makeup training who didn't do quite so well. Because a lot of times it's really easy to look hacky. Now, have you ever come to a comic book convention dressed in character before, or is this the first time?
I came last year just as regular zombie person. I didn't actually have a zombie theme. But yeah.
What are you looking forward to seeing here this weekend?
Bruce Campbell, obviously.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Really appreciate you stopping and talking to us. Thank you. Do you mind if I grab a couple quick pictures? Okay.
Thank you.
Those Who Do the Podcast will return after this short message.
Hey, it's good old boy Mike
This is good old boy Dave.
from Sips, Suds, and Smokes. Sips, Suds, and Smokes covers wine, tea, coffee, distilled spirits, whiskey, scotch, beer, cigars,
People whose first name starts with Q.
bad fake British accents.
And we always take time to make fun of the people of Alabama.
Banned once again.
It's a 1-hour episode that's mildly entertaining for about 22 minutes.
I think mildly would be a vast improvement.
Well, we do have the only beer show with the Holy Man. We talk about these products and rate them with our unique rating system, like our Suds 5 rating. Do you really have something better to do with your life for an hour than actually listen to this show?
Well, don't make them think about it.
Well, join us on this radio station, podcast network, or via our Android app.
Catwoman? Yes. Dude?
Yes.
What's the inspiration?
It was a web poll a few years back on a website I used to run. I was asking people what I should be for Halloween, put up about 10 superheroes, put Catwoman as a joke. It won in a landslide. So, hey, I'm fair game. I'm not shy. I figured I'd do it.
Did you buy it or make it?
I bought it.
Did you? And they had it in your size?
No, I had to have it custom made.
If you don't mind, what does something like that cost aftermarket?
It cost me about $200.
No kidding. Yeah. Really? So how'd you when you took it wherever you're going to take it to get it custom made, and you told them what you wanted to do, what was their reaction?
You know what? It wasn't bad at all. The place I actually did it online. It was a place called Graphics. I forget what it was. Anyway, I didn't have to tell them anything. Just ordered it up. Basically, they had options you could pick, and I didn't have to tell anybody anything. So that was the best way.
I'm just for a really big woman.
That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about.
How bad your balls sweat?
I thought my whole body's sweating like a pig, and my feet are killing me. But other than that, it's pretty good.
Pretty much like the episode of Friends when Ross is trying to get into the leather pants?
It's not nearly as hard to get in and out of, but more or less, yeah.
So how long can you... No, that's all right. How long can you wear it before you're just, I'm done, man?
You know what? We've been here a couple hours already, and I'm getting close.
Do you get a lot of people stop here, or do you get that, I don't want to talk to this guy?
It's more people stopping me every 10 feet. And once one person stops me, then it's usually a circle of people taking pictures. So
Fair enough.
For the most part, the reactions have been, oh, my God. That's pretty much about it,
I think the thing that works in your favor is that you're so laid back about it.
Oh, absolutely. You only live once. It's Comic-Con. What are you going to do? Come here and be shy?
We're here with James Burns from Black Ops.
The Black Ops.
My kids are going to love me. So is this your first time at Wizard World, or have you been here before?
No, this is my third Comic-Con with Wizard. I've been in Anaheim, Philly, now in Chicago.
Do you see a lot of difference in the different cities, the treatment of the Comic-Con?
No, I think it's pretty consistent. I'm limited to my fan base, and they're all great. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, my fan base is really committed. And we're very intimate because they've been spending hours every day with me. So they walk up, they feel like they actually know me, and they're very, they need to know stuff, and they're very energized about what they want to talk about, and we talk about weapons. We get involved in what they want to know, like, okay, what kind of weapon do you use? Oh, you kill zombies? What's your favorite zombie killing weapon? Have you prestige yet? Are you playing against your brother? Do you kick his ass? And it's all this. This is all the fun. That's what's fun about the game, is because you're dealing with weapons, you're dealing with ideas and competition, and it's a lot of safety in it. But it's just I have great fans. There's great fans.
Now, I know they do a lot of motion capture with video games and stuff now. Do they actually put that? Did you get your hands on anything? Did they put a weapon in your hands? Did you get to feel anything?
We have a video running here of the behind the scenes, and in it, you see I'm using a Galil. All my scenes were shot while holding a Galil, a copy of a Galil. I also had a prop M16 that I used during shooting of it. Yeah, so we get to play with guns, 9mm, knives, and we have a lot of makeup, makeshift things, because it's not just motion capture, it's performance capture. So they shoot it like a movie. My character, every scene you see Sergeant Frank Woods in, by the way, he forgot to tell you, I play Sergeant Frank Woods in Call of Duty Black Ops. In case you're wondering, who the hell is this guy? You can't kill me. Yeah. So every scene you see, like this video running here, that's all live action. Like when I get body slammed by Kravchenko, I got body slammed by a stuntman. When you see me jump out of the helicopter and crash through the window, I'm on a rope on a platform, swinging off a platform into a wall of pads. So everything you see, all the combat, the reason it looks so lifelike, because it is. It's all done in real time. I have like 100 scenes, and it's all live action. That's why the character looks so real and lifelike, because they didn't set, like, all the other characters, you have a different guy doing the body, another guy doing, like Gary Oldman doing the voice, or, I'm the only guy where it's actually shot like a movie. Everyone else is, cut in. You get a different guy for voice, different face guy, different body guy. Sergeant Frank Woods is a cohesive character.
Well, so it seems like, in a way, you get an opportunity to do a lot more of your own, like, stunt-type work in a video game than you might on a movie.
It's exactly the same. The difference is, in video games, there's no environment. It's an empty space with, like you can see, our Jeep was, 4 boxes in the steering wheel, And it's like, so you got to make that, and some chairs basically roped onto the boxes. And so you got to make that work. But what's cool is, like, you hear comedians say that they now make money for the shit they got in trouble with when they were kids. I now make a living by playing fucking Army. I used to do this every weekend, 10 hours a day playing Army, Now I do it for a living. My mother's cracking up. She's like, are you kidding me?
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, and it's great to see your passion for it, because and you had mentioned earlier before we started recording how video games are really starting to take over as an entertainment medium. And I know that you've done some traditional film, and now this is huge, this Black Ops, because everybody's going nuts over it. How do you feel that it's making that transition, video games coming to kind of take over?
Well, okay. I'll give you the politically correct remark first.
We don't do that here.
Number one is it doesn't change what an actor does. Again, it's acting. Everything's the same. What's really shocking to me is Call of Duty made more money in the first 6 months than Hollywood made all year. The game will probably gross $2 billion in a year. Nothing's ever done that in the film world. This industry is so much bigger than the film. They actually approached Activision and offered them like $350 million for the rights to Call of Duty Black Ops. They basically laughed at them. So why would we let you destroy our brand when we can just move it on, keep moving it forward? And they make so much more money. They have so much more fun. Because doing this shit is so, it's like you guys, you relax. Hats turned on backwards, T-shirts, beards. Hollywood can't fly that shit. Everything's rigid. I do a lot of TV too, and it's like production work, man. Like I just did an episode of Criminal Minds, and it's like a conveyor belt going 60 miles an hour, and you have to jump on, catch up speed, and then jump off. And it's all like very much like military precision. The video game, it's the same kind of commitment, but it's just relaxed. It's a lot more creativity because it's all imagination. Now. What's not PC is the fucking money sucks. I'm embarrassed to tell you what I made for this game. It's embarrassing to say, oh my God, really? But because there's no, can I swear in this interview? Sorry about that.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
So it's just it's not, because at the end of the day, you get hit with high taxes. You got to pay 10% to your manager, 10% to your agent. So I see about 40% of what I earn. Yeah.
So you're doing this because you love it then?
Well,
yeah.
But I love what I do as a living. Yeah, you're right. I do. Fortunately, I work enough so I'm comfortable, you know. But at the end of the day, it's like, wow, they made $2 billion and they're paying me scale and a half. But at the end of the day, wow, what a great opportunity. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here. I mean, I've done 100 films. I've been in 50, 60 commercials. But I'm here because I did this goddamn video game. You know, so there's something to be said for that.
Absolutely.
All right. So since we kind of talked about traditional film a little bit, you worked on Transformers, the first Transformers, correct?
Yes, I did.
How much did you work with Michael Bay?
2 weeks.
How was he?
I love Michael Bay.
He gets a bad rap from a lot of people, and is it just that he's intense?
You're guys. You know, he's a guy. I mean, it's like a goddamn frat house. And if you dig male energy, if you're soft skinned, don't take the job. Because it's like being on a sports team. Your coach is not going to talk to you like, okay, I'm sorry, Johnny. It's all right. I know you didn't want to get hit by that football. Get your ass up around. And that's how he is if you're a jock. And I worked with SEAL Team 2 out of San Diego because we trained together for 2 weeks for this whole thing. And these are badass dudes. I mean, Mike Love, if you're a guy, he's cool, man. He's okay, Jim, put your gun here. I got it. Just fucking be obedient. Do what he tells you to do. He's great. And he's smart. And he's so specific. I got a story about Michael Bay. We're standing there. The scene I'm in, I'm a Secret Service guy in Air Force One. And so basically we get a Decepticon is trying to infiltrate the Pentagon computers on Air Force One. So alarm goes off. Teams 1 and 2, POTUS, team 2. Teams 3 and 4 proceed to this, So I'm saying that's technical jargon. And as I'm running through the airplane, there's these two really tall, big-titted blondes. These are Michael Bay girls. So we're looking at the playback, and the guy who's the actual consultant, who actually was security in Air Force One, is sitting here. We're watching the playback, and he turns to Michael Bay and he goes, "Mike, not for nothing, but not only would these girls not be, qualified for Air Force One, they wouldn't even be in the Air Force." Michael Bay goes, no, they're in my Air Force.
Oh, man.
It's absolutely fantastic. I think it's great that you come here. I think that it's great that you're pretty much giving away your time. I mean, because you could charge through the roof because this franchise is so huge. You're so approachable, and I appreciate it because you're going to make me a hero to my kid. Like,
come on, only $5. Buy one, you cheap bastard. I know. Well, the thing is this, my favorite story is when I first started doing this in Anaheim. I didn't know what to charge. I've never done this before. I was kind of like, really? Is this the place where actors go to die? I wasn't sure what the fucking I showed up. Let's see what happens. And I looked and I just saw people charging $90 for a fucking picture. And my guys are 9 years old. My fans are, no one's gonna spend $90 for that. And also, what my favorite moment is this woman's walking down. She got 3 kids, and she got hammered on Comic Book Alley. And she's like, oh my, and her kids just lose their shit. They come over here, the kids lose their shit when they come here. And she's looking around like, oh my God, it's gonna cost me $100. And she walks over and she sees $5 for a picture, and I don't charge for autographs. That's free. Yeah, you just buy the pictures. That's all, posters and pictures. And to see her walk over and go, oh God, honey, was that one of those? And you see how many parents come over. They're getting crushed financially, and they see it's a $5 picture. You spend time with the kid. It's like a relief. And for me, I want people to walk away just enjoying their time with me. It's like, come on, they're my fan base. I want them. If I break even here, I'll be lucky. I got to fly in. They don't put me up. But I get to meet my fans. I get to make connections. I collect data, and it's rewarding. Like I said, we keep the prices as low as we can. Can't give it away because then they won't value it. But $5, anybody can afford $5.
Absolutely. As a guy's guy, being in this environment, maybe coming from a different place than maybe even us, because it's a different culture, the nerd culture. Well, just because I remember when I was a kid, it was tougher coming up, being a guy who was into comic books, and rather than being an athlete, or something like that, it was people looked at you a little bit differently. Now it's geek chic, man. Like, it's cool to be a nerd now, and I don't know if you've seen that change, but do you get a chance to walk around the con and experience some stuff? Is there anything you look forward to seeing when you come to conventions?
Yeah, the fucking freaks. I mean, there's shit here you can see. I mean, there's some broad walk around with some type of from Star Wars, and she has no business being naked in front of a crowd of people, but she's walking around proud as hell. I say, yes, go for that shit. You know what I mean? That's like, look, man, it's like, I read comic books. I don't buy this separation of, jock versus nerd. It's the same thing. Most of the people I know, I get a call from the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers from a radio station, and they're yelling at me because they blame their loss in playoffs on me because their team bought Call of Duty. They're playing Call of Duty Black Ops in between fucking halftime. And so the people on the radio say, you cost us the goddamn Super Bowl. I go, what the hell, you guys? The team, I mean, I know so many athletes that play this game, so I don't see that separation. That it may exist, but I don't see it. I just think it's, for me, I was a professional hockey player before I became an actor. So I come from both sides of the spectrum, and believe me, pro jocks are as fucking stupid and nerdy and geeky as any super geek you know, okay?
That's great to hear, because that was our biggest thing, is we wanted to get the perspective of different folks and seeing a convention. Because this is only my third convention. It's your second one since when you were a kid. You went to a lot, right? Your fourth one, a lifetime ever. Yeah, so it's neat, and it's nice to be able to talk to different people with different life experiences like yourself, because it's really easy to sit down at Artist Alley and talk to an artist for an hour, but that's pretty much they live, love, eat, drink, and sleep convention, because they have to. Because like the artists are in the same position voiceover actors are in, for sure, is that they don't make nearly enough money for what they're doing. So it's nice, and I can't say enough how much we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, really, honestly.
Say it in cash.
Multispective is a podcast where we interview individuals around the world with unique stories and experiences. Guests share in detail some of the traumas they faced.
Because I feel in some ways so disgusting and broken on the inside, I'm going to work on my outside, and that's going to make me feel better.
Mental health issues they've lived with.
I was very hyper, I felt good. That's one thing of mania, you feel good.
Decisions they've made.
My life changed drastically in that moment. That one moment, I can't even begin to describe to people how hard, how good, how scary, how disturbing and emotional that moment was, smoking crack.
And more importantly, how they found strength, resilience, and healing.
Just being able to think and have conversations and walk places, that really helped me, accelerate the process of, rebuilding burnt bridges.
Tune in, subscribe, rate and review Multispective on www.multispective.org or your preferred podcasting app. You can also find us on any of the social media platforms that you use. Your feedback is always welcome. Lots of love, Multispective.
Tony Forsmark.